Okay, so we are live, and I've got another McFarlane Superpowers figure to open, and this one it doesn't have a name. There's no name up here, just a symbol. So you would think maybe that they just didn't put a name for him because, like a lot of action figure packages nowadays, you've got multilingual packaging, and that maybe Nightwing is called different names in different countries, and that's why they didn't want to put the Nightwing name up here. Sorry, I'm reversed. Uh, but as I look at the bios on the back, they all call him Nightwing. It's not like he's like I don't know what Spanish for Nightwing would translate into Noche de la Wing. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. So and I'm using my phone to record this. So maybe somebody can leave in the comments what Nightwing would translate into in Spanish or French. But both of these languages show it as being Nightwing, so he's still just called Nightwing in those languages. And in fact, the Spanish version calls him Dick Grayson instead of like Ricardo Taupin or whatever he's called in some Spanish translations. So I guess now they call him Dick Grayson in those. But we went over the back of this figure package when we talked about Wonder Woman in our last video. But here's the cross sell artwork real quick with all the characters that they've had in this line so far and the two vehicles. Which, like I said, I think the vehicles have been the best part of this line. Got a nice piece of artwork with Nightwing, in his modern suit. They did not go with the Bronze Age suit, which would have been the one if they'd have made a Superpowers figure of Nightwing. He would have been wearing that one with the disco collar. But instead, they went with the more modern Nightwing suit, which to me is understandable. It is the more well-known of Nightwing's costumes nowadays, I think. Probably his most popular costume. I would think almost certainly his most popular costume. And, oh, look, I'm actually wearing a shirt that's appropriate for this episode because got a Dick Grayson action figure and got Dick Grayson on my shirt. So, so yeah, I don't always plan that stuff out. Like yesterday, I was wearing, I think, a Captain America shirt when I opened up Wonder Woman, and wearing a Secret Wars shirt when I was opening up Black Adam toys. I just ran across my Black Adam shirt yesterday, so I'm like, great, I've opened up all my Black Adam toys, and now I find this shirt. but yeah, this is my second favorite Nightwing costume after the Bronze Age version. So I'm happy to have this version. Don't misunderstand me. But and I understand why they went with this version. Again, don't misunderstand me. But part of me still wishes I had Disco Nightwing, and hopefully they'll put one of those out at some point. I'm kind of irritated that they are actually doing a second Superpowers Nightwing, and it's going to be like into the costume he wore during the Nightfall era. And I'm like, really, guys? Really? We can't do the costume he would have actually worn if he was a Superpowers figure. That's why, at least as far as it goes, before I've opened them up, just looking at them in the package, my favorite of the three was Deathstroke, because this actually would be what Deathstroke would look like if they'd have made a Superpowers figure of him in the 80s. So that's why he's my favorite of the three. But let's go ahead and open them up, and maybe I might change my mind once I get all three of them opened and have them all in hand. But I kind of doubt it. I know my own mind. So I'm saving the cards for these because I love that 80s style card design. It's very sharp, eye-catching, simple. It works. But I don't know where I put the rest of the cards that I had. Even Darkseid, where the artwork got ruined because his bubble was so big. So not all of these Superpowers figures have come with accessories, but thankfully Nightwing does, because he has his two I'm not sure how you pronounce Eskrima sticks. I'm not sure how you pronounce them. And they're pretty simple, just little gunmetal gray sticks. We were having a discussion as to what to call them, like between the Eskrima stick or a Billy Club, or I'm pretty sure officially they're known as Eskrima sticks, but however you pronounce that. I know how to spell it. I don't know how to pronounce it. but I feel like they missed an opportunity. They should have called them nightsticks. So from now on, I'm referring to these as his nightsticks. You would think hanging out with Batman, as long as Dick did, he would know the importance of branding. You know, Batarang, Batmobile, Bat ropes, you know, Bat computer. Well, I'm Nightwing. These are my sticks. They're my nightsticks. So we can go ahead and put them in his hands in very tight grip. Goes in there nice and snugly. He ain't going to drop these things. So that's what he looks like with the sticks in his hands. So pretty standard articulation. Got a head that turns all the way around. Got arms that rotate all the way at the shoulder. Legs go up about that far. Knees bend about that far. So he's got good range of motion at the knees. That's good because he's an acrobat. He's going to need all the articulation he can get. You know, I wish I'd have thought to have grabbed Green Lantern from the shelf because I think that he actually uses a lot of parts that were used on Green Lantern. So excuse me one moment. I'm going to go to the other side of my room and get that Green Lantern figure. So that means I'm going to have to walk all the way around this big table that I had set up for the Point Dread review. And I still haven't taken it down because I still have other big stuff that I'm going to be reviewing upcoming. But I really wanted to get these Superpowers figures out of the way because I've been sitting on them for so long. All right, so I'm going to compare as to whether or not he shares any of these parts with Green Lantern because I kind of suspect that he does. But I haven't had a chance to really compare them because, like I said, I haven't opened Nightwing yet until this very minute. So here is our Green Lantern, and I'm going to compare them. And it does look like, indeed, most of the body is shared between Nightwing and Green Lantern. Obviously, they have different heads, and obviously, they have a different right arm. Now, looking at this head, I think this head would actually work pretty well for a Hal Jordan head. If you had, get an extra Green Lantern and swap their heads out and then repaint it, if you wanted to make a Green Lantern, you could do that or a Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Obviously, you already have a Green Lantern here. But if you wanted to do specifically Hal Jordan, that would be a good way to do them, I think. But I happen to have the original Green Lantern from the original Superpowers line, so I don't need to make a Mcfarlane style Hal Jordan. That's one of the reasons I was really glad that they when they made Green Lantern, they decided to go with John Stewart, because we never got John Stewart back in the 80s, and honestly, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern figure is one of the best figures in the Superpower line, I think. So that's a tough act to follow. I don't think any of the ones they've done that have been straight up remakes, and they haven't done as many as you would think, but I think Superman and Flash, technically close enough. Neither one of those is as good as the original one, I don't think. Unless you want to pretend, like I do, that Flash is Wally West, and then he's like automatically better than Barry. I just pissed off some Silver Age fans just then. Sorry, guys. Wally's still my Flash. All right. So yeah, they do share a lot of parts, as I suspected. Like I said, the only parts that obviously are going to be different is the head, obviously. And, you want to have a different hand because, like, you don't want Dick to have a Green Lantern ring. Well, I don't know. Maybe you do want Dick to have a Green Lantern ring, but you definitely want to be able to hold both of his nightsticks, as I'm going to be calling them from now on. So these will forevermore be known as nightsticks. And we got Batman here. So then we can see the former Boy Wonder next to the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, the reuniting of the dynamic duo, as it were. So So yeah, he's a pretty basic action figure. There's not a whole lot else to say about him. Uh, they definitely did a good job. I love the head sculpt. He's got that kind of longish hair, like you think about Nightwing as having. Not quite as long in the back, not quite as mullety as you might expect, but it still looks like typically how Dick Grayson's hair looks when he's Nightwing, where it's like a little longer than when he was Robin, a little little less coiffed, a little less spit curled, a little more sort of with the hair flip kind of thing. So nice sharp detailing on the emblem. Again, since he's got such a simple costume, that's pretty much all the paint detailing there is just the blue on the torso and the arms, and they did a good job with that. So Nightwing is a character that I always wanted in the 80s Superpowers line, because I believe that Dick's transition to Nightwing actually occurred during the Superpowers line. So they could have very easily done it. Oh, I guess I'll just, I know a lot of people would want a shot of his butt. So we'll go ahead and do that. So there we go. But he does have the same butt as Green Lantern. So, I mean, it's not like, it's not like he's got the most impressive butt of the male heroes. I guess he'd be tied with Green Lantern since they have the same butt. I know certain people watching care about this sort of thing, so I'm just looking out for you. That's all it is. I'm not even obsessed with the female superhero butts, but I'll show them off when I feel like they're nicely done. So, and Nightwing is a character who's famous for having a nice butt, and a lot of Nightwing fans appreciate that, both male and female. You know what I mean? So I'll go ahead and show that off a little bit so you guys can see that. But yeah, good figure. They're on clearance right now at Walmart, and you can probably still find them on clearance at Walmart because they got a ton of this wave for whatever reason. They sold through all of and they got a ton of those, all the first couple of waves even. But I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that there was a lot of figures of Superman and Batman in there, and kids are always going to want Superman and Batman. But Wonder Woman seemed to sell all right, and but I mean like the other two are the ones that kind of hung around, and I think maybe kids just don't know Nightwing as well as they know Batman, and don't know Deathstroke as well as they know Superman. I guess maybe it's one of those sort of things. But yeah, Deathstroke will be the next one. I will be opening him up tomorrow. I've got some other cool stuff on the way. I've got the first of the 3 3/4 inch X-Men figures that I've bought, because they have 3 3/4 inch X-Men figures coming out based on the X-Men 97 cartoon. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not going to say what character it is yet, but that's a little bit of a tease. So I might do that maybe I'll do that on Friday, or maybe I'll do that on Saturday, or maybe I might even wait until next week. We'll see how I'm feeling. But yeah, I have those coming. I've got a package that I'm expecting from Amazon tomorrow. That's going to be one of those other big things that I'm talking about. That was a really good deal that I got on that particular toy, and I'm not gonna say what it is, but I will give you a hint. If you tune into that episode, you will probably see something get flung across the room. So if you're a fan of me flinging certain characters across the room, you might enjoy that. So that's your hint as to what I might be opening up on once I get that package from Amazon. But I'm pretty happy with Nightwing. I think he turned out good. You can definitely see like the Rebirth influence, and he's got a blue mask, whereas like I think before Rebirth, most Nightwing figures would have had a black mask. But I think even before then, there were some Nightwing figures that had a blue mask. I personally prefer him to have a black mask, but it's not such a big deal that I'm going to repaint this, because just there's a lot of sharp points to it, and I don't want to, like I said, the paint apps, they actually did a good job with it, with the sharp edging to it, so I don't mind so much. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Nightwing. Good figure, definitely worth picking up, especially if you can find them on clearance. Like I still don't mind that I paid full retail price for this guy. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure, what you think about this character. Are you a fan of Nightwing? I know I am. I remember it was a pretty exciting thing when Dick Grayson made the transition from Robin to Nightwing, and I felt like it just felt kind of natural and all fit together really well. And it's the sort of thing where, like, especially back in those days, you didn't really see permanent change in comic books so much. And I remember like that's probably one of the only things that was a permanent change that really stuck around for the Bronze Age. And there were a lot of things that stuck around for a while, like Wally was still the Flash for the longest time, and Peter Parker and Mary Jane were married for quite some time, and in my mind, they still are. But yeah, for the most part, even stuff that seems permanent gets kind of rolled back after a while. Even Bucky came back from the dead eventually. So, but I don't foresee them ever putting Dick Grayson back to being Nightwing, at least not in a permanent or mainstream continuity. Maybe if they did like an alternate universe or a flashback or something, like a series that took place in the past, you could have like a regular appearance of Dick Grayson as Robin. Something like the Batman 66 comic book series, which was based on the TV show and obviously is going to have Dick Grayson be Robin. But yeah, like, and honestly, since they can sell action figures of Dick Grayson as Nightwing and still sell action figures of Dick Grayson as Robin and, Tim Drake as Robin and Damian Wayne as Robin, the more characters you have, the more action figures you can sell. And I think that's why Dick Grayson is probably going to remain Nightwing, at least until they stop publishing comic books altogether. Anyway, we will talk to you next time. Bye.